Okay, we're back. John Russo here in the box. This is Out of Bounds on a Tuesday night, the 31st of July, my last day of being 46 years old, and I join Jerry Palm in the depths of 47. August 1st there, Jerry, so get your shopping done early if you want to. Bill Miller running...
I'm 48, actually.
Oh, you're 48 now?
We got a ways to go.
Okay, no. Hopefully, for your sake, I never catch you.
When the candles cost more than the cake.
Right.
When you know you're up there.
That's the now getting familiar voice of Allen Dell, longtime columnist down here in Sarasota Herald Tribune, now working up at the Bradenton Herald. Jerry, real quick before we preview the Big 12, I'm trying to find someone other than me that's watching the Olympics. Are you?
Sure. Yeah.
Do you mean that? I never know when you're sarcastic or not.
Nope. I'm watching it.
Must be the age range.
Well, and I think that's really true. I talked about this before.
Both you and I have talked about this.
Yeah, when it was starting the Olympics, that when I was a kid, and maybe Jerry the same thing, I either wanted to be an Olympic gold medal champion or the heavyweight champion of the world. That's what I wanted to be as a kid. You know, and I guess that's generational now. What do you think, Jerry?
I wanted to be Glenn Beckert.
Who's that?
Cub second baseman when I was growing up.
Oh my goodness. Okay. The only Cubs second baseman I know is Rano, but
yeah, he predates that a little ways. He was on the second baseman on that '69 team.
Let's see, college. Get some total lines here. Okay, so all the media days I think are complete, and just as an overview, what do you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think just about anyway.
Yeah, Oklahoma is the overwhelming favorite. It looks like here in the Big 12. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they've got an experienced group back, and they've got one of the best quarterbacks, at least heralded. But I mean, among the better players, this is a guy that doesn't really get a whole lot of credit in Landry Jones. But I think that they're going to be pretty difficult to knock off this season. They have a chance to go undefeated.
I can't get excited about Bob Stoops. Maybe he's let me down so many times before, and it seems, when he first came in, he was big game Bob, and he's lost so many of them. And usually on New Year's Day or the day after.
But the difference this year is that the talent difference between his team and the others now is going to be a little more pronounced than it has been in recent years. Texas is not what they've been. They'll be better than they were last year, but they don't look like a threat to win the league. And Oklahoma State's going to take a step back a little bit this year, not too far, but a little bit. And Oklahoma should have, I think, kind of a clean shot. As clean as you can get. I mean, undefeated is never easy. You got to stay healthy and all that. But I think that they have a pretty good chance to run the table, at least in the league.
No doubt in your mind then that Oklahoma is the Big 12 champion?
I think they are a very solid favorite, yeah. I'd be surprised if they don't win it. If they stay healthy and don't win it.
Me and my iPad are not jiving here now, and I was talking with someone at the commercial.
I just got one of those yesterday.
Did you really?
It's time for an Android, John. You and that thing fight constantly.
Oh, it's really not its fault that it's usually not charged, but hold on a second. I want to find the win total. I got it now. Okay. 1 second here, Jerry. Win total for Oklahoma, LMNO. Now we go. Oklahoma, over under. It's weird. The bigger programs, they actually give you 3 choices. The natural line is over under 10 wins. Then you could also kind of pervert the line and go over under 9.5, or if you want to get some extra money, go over under 10.5. But let's start with the natural line. Over under 10 wins for Oklahoma.
Yeah, I like that.
Like it over?
I'm sorry, over. Yes, over.
Over 10. Okay. Yeah, because then you can get some extra money if you want to try to say over 10.5. So you're giving up the push in that case. If it lands on 10, it's no bet. You hand back the money. But anyway.
I like over 10.5 as well.
Do you really? Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll make a note of that.
Bowl games don't count, right?
They do not. Nor do championship games. Yeah.
Okay. Conference championship games don't count either? Okay.
Do not count, yeah. So basically, they get 12 regular season games, and you're
right.
saying that to cash the ticket, you got to get 11 wins. They can only lose one time. I don't have the schedule here in front of me. No, that's not true.
Notre Dame non-conference at home.
They got Notre Dame non-conference at home?
I believe, yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I think I do have that right here in front of me. Me and my iPad is not vibing again. Golly. Here we go. What is it with Mac Brown in Texas? How long of a leash do you think he is on down there?
Long enough. I don't think they're going to fire him unless they just, totally tank. No, I think his leash is fine.
He's the second highest paid coach in college football, isn't he, right now behind Nick Saban, I believe?
He's up there. I mean, you see those
Is he
lists.
that high?
I believe he's number 2 behind Saban.
Yeah, well, you see those lists, and you can kind of pervert it because they add or subtract bonus and stuff. He's certainly in the top 5, no doubt about that.
I think he will retire before he's fired, and he's getting to be about that age.
West Virginia. It's funny, I'd forgotten about this. West Virginia is now in the Big 12.
Also TCU.
This is going to be a pain in the butt all year. I had just gotten all this committed to memory because a couple of years ago, Jerry had to straighten me out a few times, and I got it all committed to memory. West Virginia. Jeez. This is going to be crazy this year. I am not looking forward to this. Okay, West Virginia win total. Go back here. What do you think about West Virginia as they go into their first year in the league?
I think they have a chance to be pretty successful. They're an experienced team as well. People are going to be learning about them, although vice versa is also true. I mean, they're going to be, it's going to be a learning experience for both sides of the ball for them. It'll almost feel like playing 12 non-conference teams for them because this will be their first time playing a lot of these teams. But their coach, Holgerson, is from the Big 12, so that's an advantage for West Virginia. I think they have a chance to have a pretty good year. I wouldn't be surprised to see them win, 8 or 9 games.
The 9's the number.
You know what? My prediction for them is 9-3.
Can I get in on that one? Since I covered USF in the Big East for quite a few years, West Virginia, I don't know how they're going to do in the Big 12 because honestly, they were kind of a disappointment in a Big East.
In a very weak Big East.
A very weak Big East.
A Big East that wasn't that big.
I mean, can anybody think of how many quality wins they've had in the last 3 or 4 years?
The best game they played last year, the one they're getting touted for the most, is taking LSU the distance.
Yeah. So
right.
I mean, this is going to be a whole new experience when they're going to be playing so much tougher competition. It's going to be interesting to see how they do.
Well, it's funny.
They fed off the poor in the Big East.
Well, you said 8 or 9 wins, and this is another one that's got the perverted line. The natural line is 9, but you can go 9.5 and call it under. I wonder if that's not the thing, because then they got to win 10 games to beat you.
Yeah, I definitely feel better about that than I do betting, which I don't bet at all, of course. 9.
Yep. Nope. I think that's the way to do it. Jump back here. TCU. What do you think of the Horned Frogs as they make their way into the Big 12? Now, this isn't really nearly as much uncharted territory for them. Obviously, they're based in Texas. What do you think of them?
I like TCU. I think they are going to come back a little bit, though. It's going to be a little tougher for them this year, just because I think they lost some good players, and they're stepping up in competition quite a bit. But I still think this is a bowl team. They could win 7 or 8 games. I would be surprised if they missed the bowl entirely. But I think it'll be a battle for them.
7 is the line, and there's only one line for them. Over under.
Yeah, well, I'd probably just lay off. I like that number.
Okay. Leave it alone. I can do that too. Leave it alone. Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I think they're going to be good again. A step behind Oklahoma, but maybe the second best team in the league, and has a chance again at double-digit wins in a good year. I don't think we'll be talking about them as a potential national champion at the end of the year, like we were last year. But I don't think it's going to be a huge fall for them.
Let's find it. Baylor, of course, is bound to take a huge fall, right?
Yeah, Baylor will come back to the pack for sure. Yeah, Baylor, but that should still be a bowl team. I mean, they're not going to be terrible. That's a team that should still make a bowl game. But yeah, you're talking more about 7 wins this year than what they did last year.
Man, there's so many teams in the Big 12 now. I can't get me and my thing not working right. Oklahoma State 8 wins is the total number.
Really? Oh, I like that. Over. I think they do better than 8.
Over 8 with a couple check marks, as a matter of fact. Let's see. Baylor, not so sure about Baylor. I tell you what, they can't play no defense. Did they get anyone on defense extra this year?
I don't know, but they're not going to be any worse, are they?
No, I guess that is true. They played some games that were just insane with the total. I mean, I think they played 3 games and went over 100 points last year, if I'm not mistaken.
They did. Yeah, they almost went over 100 themselves, it seemed like.
Yeah, it was insane. And the bowl game was really crazy.
Yeah.
That was
that was 67 to 53 or something like that, some ridiculous score. But Washington scored a whole mess of points and got beat, and wasn't really close.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, we often joke and say it was just like playing Madden. I don't even see anyone playing Madden that well.
Yeah, they put up a basketball score, both teams in that game.
Baylor, 6.5 is their win total.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, I see him at 6 or 7. So
leave it alone.
Yeah, I don't think I would bet 6.5.
Okay, two more.
Because I think I see them at 6 or 7, bowl eligible, but not by much.
2 more minutes here with Jerry Palma. CBSSports.com. It is really great to hear. NFL training camps are open. College football will be starting soon. It's no better time of year. Kansas State, 8 wins.
Kansas State. I would say under 8. I don't think they're going to get to 8. I think they'll be bowl eligible, but I would say under 8.
Yep, I got to get a look at the schedules here, but I was surprised to see their number that high. The boys in the desert know much more about this stuff than you or I combined, Jerry. But okay, last but not least, Texas Tech. They always seem to jump up and bite once or twice every year. Texas Tech. Let me find you here. Texas A&M. Texas Tech, 6.5 wins.
I don't think so. I don't see them in a bowl this year.
Okay. So
I think that's a team in a little bit of turmoil, a more competitive league. I don't see Texas Tech making a bowl game, and that would be 6 wins. Oh, no. Under, what was it, 6.5?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Under, yeah.
1 minute, then we'll spin back on the Olympics. I finally found someone else that's watching it with me. I don't know how NBC is putting out these record ratings when no one's watching, but me and Jerry Palm are holding hands, singing Kumbaya and rooting on the USA in water polo and what is the one with the birdie badminton?
Well, the Eastern Time Zone. It says here on the notes if you pay attention, the least viewership.
Yeah,
It's on the Eastern Time.
Is the Eastern Time Zone? Yeah, it's all Western. But I don't know if that's got something to do with the time differences or not. But what do you think, Jerry? I felt terrible. I don't have the girl's name in front of me. The little gymnast, the one that was supposed to be our best girl, and she gets nudged out by
Gordon Weber.
Right. And she gets nudged out by one of her teammates, obviously, and that whole
2 of her teammates,
or 2 of them, right? The whole dichotomy with both you got to root for your teammate, but you're in essence rooting against them.
Yeah, it is a stupid and I believe new gymnastics qualification system that says that you can't have more than 2 members from any one country compete for the all-around title. And so Jordan Weber was the 4th best gymnast in qualifying. Unfortunately for her, 2 of the 3 ahead of her were her teammates, and because of the 2 team member limit, she doesn't qualify. However, they ended up going all the way down to 28 to get the 24 qualifier. So she wasn't the only one in that situation. There were 3 others that didn't qualify because they finished 3rd in their own team. But she was by far the highest rated of those that were screwed by this ridiculous rule. And it's like saying that if college basketball did this, and college basketball used to, back 45 years ago, you could only have 1 team from the conference in the in the tournament. But way back then, it would be like leaving out the number 4 team in the country now to take some second place team from some mid-major conference that couldn't possibly compete in the bigger league. And obviously college basketball does not do that for good reason.
What was the rationale behind this rule?
Well, that's what I was waiting from the.
Yeah, I think that there was a fear that you'd see entire teams from, say, China or the United States or the Romania, the really good Russia, the really good gymnastics countries, might dominate so much that you could see most, if not all, of some of these teams. There are only 5 American gymnasts, and I think that the 3, 2 of them did not compete in every event, but the 3 that did were in the top 4. And the other countries that are really good at this had a lot of competitors at the top, and it's just, I think that they didn't want it to be dominated by a handful of teams until they put this rule into place. But it's really pretty stupid.
It's hard to defend. It's funny. You were making a reference, Jerry, as we're going a couple seconds over. For years gone by in the tournament, just go as far back as last year. Imagine if the rules they talked about, maybe only conference champions would be eligible for this 14 playoff, and you have to leave out in Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You're talking about football, of course.
Right,
they don't know what they're going to do in football. They don't know what they're going to do in football. But
the same set of circumstances. I mean, it's similar. It could have been. We're past that supposedly. But
yeah, but the difference is you're only thinking 4 teams in football versus 24 gymnasts in the Olympics.
Yeah,
if your tournament's that big, you've got room for the 5th or 6th gymnasts on it.
You would think, and then
that's what.
And I know NBC's got to sell advertising, but the way they had to wait for that girl to get composed to come back and have her break down and cry again while being interviewed.
I thought she did a nice job with it, considering what had to be the emotions. I mean, she was the world champion.
No,
it's not like she did badly. She was 4th overall. It's not like she stunk up the joint or fell on her head or did something stupid.
No, well, three of them went out of bounds. She stepped out of bounds. The one Gabby girl, went
yeah,
flying.
they all did. All 3 of them. Everybody on the U.S. team stepped out of bounds on the floor.
Interesting.
But it's not like they were, what the men did the next night, or last night, where the men's gymnastics team, started tripping over themselves, walking into the arena and never stopped. It's like their shoelaces were tied together all night.
It was almost like Keystone Cops. It was hard to watch. It really was.
It was Laurel and Hardy do gymnastics.
Jerry Brown, we're so proud that you make time every week to be with here on Out of Bounds. Thank you so much. You can see his work on CBSSports.com. We'll talk to you again next week, buddy.
All right, take care.
Okay. All right, guys, run a little bit long. We'll get out of here, take a break, get back here on the other side. I think it's time for the Black Widow.
It is.
All righty. Give us about 2 minutes. We'll see you back here on the side with the Widow.